What's up, everybody? Are you overwhelmed by the never ending supply of depressing bad news? Well, let's refuel our tanks with 7 recent positive stories. This is Giddy News for the month of March 2022. France to allow gay and bisexual men to donate blood, ending an unjustified inequality, is the Giddy News headline, courtesy of Muri Asuncao with New York Daily News, and a link to the source will be included in the description below. France has lifted long-standing restrictions on gay and bisexual men who want to donate blood. Health Minister Olivier Véran announced that questions about sexual orientation will be removed from blood donation questionnaires. The ban, which began in 1983 during the height of the HIV/AIDS crisis, was enacted as an emergency measure to prevent blood contamination, but it discriminated against gay and bisexual men. Several nations, including the United States, enacted similar bans at the time. Today, advances in testing and diagnostic tools can safely detect the presence of the virus in the blood with high precision within days after infection. Mathieu Gatopin-Bachet, the spokesperson for the French LGBTQ rights group Inter-LGBT, stated, "Imposing a 4-month period of abstinence on homosexuals wishing to donate blood is totally absurd and has always been seen as a form of discrimination, especially when we know that donations are in short supply." California condors have virgin births discovered in these critically endangered birds, is the Giddy News headline, courtesy of BBC News, and a link to the source will be included in the description below. Wildlife researchers have discovered that 2 California condors gave birth without any male genetic DNA. Virgin births have been recorded in other bird species, as well as lizards, snakes, sharks, and other fish. But the discovery that these critically endangered birds are capable of virgin births, also known as parthenogenesis, surprised scientists. What makes the case even more rare is that it is the first time that any bird species has had a virgin birth when males were still present for breeding. Oliver Ryder, the director of conservation genetics at San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance, said, "We were not exactly looking for evidence of parthenogenesis. We only confirmed it because of the normal genetic studies that we do to prove parentage." Only about 500 California condors remain in the U.S. Southwest and Mexico. In the 1980s, fewer than 24 birds remained in the wild, but conservation efforts have boosted their numbers in recent years. Virginia and Denmark partner to boost offshore wind industry, is the Giddy News headline, courtesy of Sarah Fearing with Wavy.com, and a link to the source will be included in the description below. Virginia has signed an agreement with Denmark to boost the offshore wind industry. The Memorandum of Understanding was signed virtually by Secretary of Commerce and Trade Brian Ball and Dan Jorgensen, Minister of the Danish Ministry of Climate, Energy and Utilities. The agreement establishes a partnership between Virginia and Denmark to share best practices when it comes to developing offshore wind and its supply chain in each location. Together, Virginia and Denmark will work to find ways to quickly and efficiently develop an offshore wind industry. They'll also look at bigger picture items such as renewable energy, mitigating climate change, and energy security. Jorgensen stated, "Virginia's ambition and Denmark's experience make a perfect partnership. Together, we stand stronger in the green transition." Dolly Parton's book gifting program for children will expand to all 64 Colorado counties, is the Giddy News headline, courtesy of Matt Bloom with CPR News, and a link to the source will be included in the description below. Young children in all Colorado zip codes will soon qualify to receive free books through a statewide expansion of the Imagination Library, a global book gifting program started by country singer Dolly Parton. Since its launch in 1995, Imagination Library has delivered millions of books across the United States and around the world. Once a family enrolls, Imagination says it will mail one high-quality, age-appropriate book to their household each month. Older kids receive books about everything from science and folk tales to school readiness, while books for infants focus on colorful illustrations and simple text. Partons nonprofit has had a presence in Colorado since 2005, where it delivers books to about 16,000 children every month and is available in at least 22 cities and counties in the state. The expansion will focus on growing that number to include all 64 counties. Dolly said, "We've still got some work to do in Colorado, but we're going to get there." New Richmond Bakery provides jobs for adults with special abilities, is the Giddy News headline courtesy of Caroline Colburn with WTVR News Richmond, and a link to the source will be included in the description below. Tablespoon's Bakery launched in 2017 as a way to help adults with developmental disabilities obtain work readiness skills and independent living skills. It's part of The Next Move, a nonprofit that provides on-the-job training for these young adults. For 4 years, Tablespoons operated out of kitchens selling their items at farmers markets and events. But the new brick-and-mortar shop will provide more chances for young adults with diverse abilities to practice their social skills. They'll spend half of their day in the classroom learning resume skills and interview skills, and the second half will be spent in the kitchen or bakery making and selling cookies. Co-founders Kelsey Dunn and Elizabeth Redford were formerly special education teachers. Redford stated, "We want the larger community to see that these young adults have so much to offer." Dunn, who is also Director of Education for The Next Move, explained, "We believe that when given support and encouragement, anybody can succeed." 190-year-old Jonathan becomes world's oldest tortoise ever, is the Giddy News headline courtesy of Sanj Atwal with Guinness World Records, and a link to the source will be included in the description below. Jonathan, the world's oldest living land animal, is now the oldest tortoise ever known. Believed to have been born in 1832, which would make him 190 years old, Jonathan's official record title is Oldest Chelonian, a category which encompasses all turtles, terrapins, and tortoises. Jonathan's age is an estimation based on the fact that he was fully mature and hence at least 50 years old when he first arrived in St. Helena in 1882. His estimated age was further supported when an old photograph taken between 1882 and 1886 was uncovered. That photo showed a fully grown Jonathan grazing on some grass in the garden of Plantation House, the residence of St. Helena's governor. Jonathan is still plodding around these same grounds today, where he enjoys the company of 3 other giant tortoises, David, Emma, and Fred. His main interests are sleeping, eating, and mating. Very relatable. His vet, Joe Hollins, stated that Jonathan still has a good libido and is seen frequently mating with Emma, and sometimes with Fred. Habitat for Humanity dedicates first 3D printed home to U.S. family, is the Giddy News headline courtesy of KTNV Las Vegas, and a link to the source will be included in the description below. Habitat for Humanity has dedicated its first 3D printed home to a family in the United States. The Virginian house was completed about 4 weeks faster than a typical construction schedule. It took just 28 hours to print the 1,200 square foot home. Officials also estimate that it costs 15 to 20% less than a typical home. New homeowner April Springfield said that she can't wait to live in her new 3D printed home. She stated, "My great-grandmother Daisy had a concrete home and I grew up in that home. It's just really exciting that I could carry on that tradition, something that my great-grandmother had." The groundbreaking dedication comes amid a nationwide shortage of affordable housing. Takia Jordan of Habitat for Humanity believes that 3D printing could help fill the need in the housing gap. She stated, "What the pandemic did for Habitat for Humanity International, and I think many in the affordable housing sector, was that it really raised the specter of the need for safe, quality, affordable housing for everyone." All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Giddy News. And if you have a positive news story that you'd like for me to share, please include a link in the comments below. And until next time, take care of yourself, and thanks for watching.